guys. Thanks so much for checking out Survivor Buffs, me and Gideon. If you have been watching our promotions so far for season 41, we've done a couple cast assessments thus far, a couple interviews with past contestants. We have a fantasy draft coming up next Wednesday, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the fantasy draft. Me and Gideon are going to go back and forth, picking one by one. 9 people for Gideon's team, 9 people for mine. Of course, we have the kickoff show that is coming up in 2 weeks, 1 hour before the Survivor Season 41 premiere. We're going to be going live with Peridium, with Idled Out, with Survivor Specialists. Pretty much every Survivor YouTuber that we could find, we wanted to have on and make some cool stuff. But today we wanted to do something a little special, something we've never done before, something we've been planning for a bit. We are doing, I guess we're going to go ahead and call it the Survivor Superfan Roundtable version 1, maybe more versions to come. But me and Gideon are going to be talking to a couple of Survivor Superfans that we found online that are here to talk about season 41. So, guys, thanks so much for joining. We appreciate your time here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. I was going to ask you guys before we get started talking about 41 if you guys just wanted to say who you are and maybe your favorite player, your favorite season, just so maybe if you have interesting answers down the line, we can, compare that. It's like if you have a favorite player, it'd be cool to see who it compares to maybe your winner pick for this season. But yeah, do you guys just want to let us know who you are and who your maybe favorite player, favorite season is? I'll start. I'll go. My name's Adam. I'm from Pittsburgh. My favorite season is. I feel like this is the typical answer most Survivor super fans give, but mine is Heroes versus Villains. I don't know if I have a single favorite Survivor, but I do like the Survivors that like had the most impact on the way we play the game. So like Hatch and Russell are 2 of my favorites for that reason. But Dylan, do you wanna take it next? Tell us favorite season, favorite player.
So I'm Dylan, and I'm from all the way from South Africa. And I would say my favorite season is Survivor China, just because all those contestants on that season is very memorable. There's not a single person you don't remember. And my favorite player, I would say, is Suri, just because she's such a lovable character and the way she played the game is just fantastic to watch.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if you're such a fan of China, I have to ask Dylan, have you bought one of Todd's Survivor bobbleheads yet?
No, but I really want to after I discovered he'd made them.
Yeah, me too. Josh, you want to go next? Tell us favorite player, favorite season.
Yeah, sure. My name's Josh. I'm from California. Oops, this way. And from San Diego specifically. I mean, all Survivor is good TV. So I don't hate any seasons, but I would say my one of my favorites, hard to pick. I have a tier of the top 3, which is Heroes vs. Villains, Cagayan, and Pearl Islands. Those are like the big 3 for me. So right. Pearl Islands is probably the most controversial of those top 3.
But, I love Pearl Islands.
Pearl Islands is great, man.
Yeah. Everybody on that season is just like more than a character. They're like archetypal. Like they are. You have Rupert and Sandra and Lil and Savage, and I mean, great season. I think my favorite player though of all time is actually from an Australian Survivor season. My dog is actually named after Luke Toki. So I have my dog Toki, who's just off screen here, chills with me in my work from home office here every day.
Very cool. Love Luke. Probably my favorite Australian too. I've only seen 2 Australian seasons, but one of them was Luke's second season. Great guy too. He actually was on the podcast 2 months ago. Really fantastic guy. You're from San Diego. Are you a Padres fan or what?
No, I'm not. I didn't grow up in San Diego, but moved here for school. So no, I'm not really a baseball guy, but probably my sports allegiance is to the Cardinals. So
Hey,
probably
man,
my
there you go.
favorite sports
St.
team.
Louis or Arizona?
St.
Arizona.
Louis. What?
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
I don't watch baseball, so I'm a football guy.
Cardinals is baseball. St. Louis. Oh, come on.
Well, when he said Cardinals, I thought Arizona first, because aren't the Cardinals like the oldest team in the NFL? They were like the first.
Yeah, I
team
think technically, yeah. They're one of the original franchises.
Yeah, absolutely. But no Super Bowls, huh?
Not yet. Kyler Murray's gonna change it.
Yep, maybe. He's on my fantasy team,
Sorry.
so I hope you're right.
All of our international guests, I don't know if you follow the NFL, but there you go. A little history in the Cardinals. All you need to know is Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Very cool. Christian, do you want to go ahead and tell us who you are, who your favorite player is, favorite season?
Yeah, my name's Christian. I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And for me, this was a tough one because I like all Survivor, and I'm not prejudiced towards or mean towards every season. But my top three would be Winners at War, Cagayan, and Heroes versus Villains. And my favorite winner of all time would be like King Tony. You gotta bow down to him. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was he your pick coming into Winners of War? Or were you just as shocked as the rest of us that he was able to pull it off?
I was 50-50. I was shocked too. I didn't
Okay.
expect him to be voted out. Never been voted out in a very hard season. Like, how did he did it? It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Are either of I know there's two, we were talking about this before the show started, but I know there's two survivors from this current season that are from Canada. Are either of them from your area, or are they from elsewhere?
I think one of them is she's Asian. I think she's Filipino. She's from Toronto and Scarborough. That's the only thing. The other two, I think there's two more Canadians or one of them.
I thought there was two, but I could be wrong.
I think there's two. The other one is like from Ontario, but moved to Washington D.C. just for I think for studies or work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she's from Toronto. But the next season, I heard rumors that there's one from Montreal and there's a few of them from like Ontario. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Are you a Habs fan?
Yeah, guilty. I'm also a Toronto Blue Jays fan, big time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How far are you from where the Blue Jays play?
How far?
Okay. Very cool.
Maybe 30 minutes, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
This just seems like we're just gonna talk baseball from here on out. So if you guys don't know baseball, I'm a Pirates fan. I don't know if you guys don't know baseball. Being a Pirates fan is a struggle. We made the playoffs once in like 30 years. So, and that one time we got eliminated in the first round. So it's tough being a Pirates fan. Usually when people ask you a Pirates fan, we just say no. We just say who are the Pirates. But Sarah, you want to finish this off? We'll get in. You can give an answer to after Sarah. But Sarah, where are you from? Who's your favorite player in season?
I don't know sports, so I can't contribute to that conversation. My name is Sarah, and I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I started watching Survivor only 3 years ago. And once I watched my first season, I was instantly hooked and have been a super fan ever since. But the first season I watched was actually Cagayan. And so that became my favorite season. And like Rob has a podcast, put it at number 2. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, my first season happened to be my favorite too, which I think is really cool. But I would say my favorite Survivor player is Kelly Wentworth. I think she is such a fighter, queen of playing from the minority, and she just never gives up. And I love her passion and determination. I think she plays a great physical, social, and mental game all around. I wish she would have won in Cambodia, but I mean, Jeremy deserves it. But yeah, I love her.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. We've all, everyone, because I've been able to talk to so many Survivor fans since we started this podcast. It's interesting how many different journeys people had in their like Survivor careers. I started with Guatemala, but but I stopped watching after Cambodia just because I started college. And then me and Gideon actually both kind of got back into it with Island of the Idols, interestingly enough. And then we just sort of rewatched both seasons or all the seasons. And yeah, so it's interesting. Some people never stopped to watching. Some people joined later on. Some people started and stopped. So it's interesting kind of comparing everyone's like Survivor watch journeys. So Gideon, you want to finish us off? Who's your favorite player? I'm not going to ask you to say your favorite season because you're going to say
Come
Gabon.
on, let me say it.
Then I'm going to kick you from this
Let me
podcast.
say it. My favorite season's Gabon. It's the best. And my favorite player is Rudy. He's just a classic.
Rudy.
So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I like Rudy, probably the best. If you ask me who my favorite player is, it's Rudy, but sometimes it changes. But
I'm not complaining. I'm just surprised. I didn't know you were such a Rudy fan.
Yeah, no, I mean Rudy's great. Now, when you ask me like who do I think is the best player of all time, obviously it's not Rudy, but you're asking me who my favorite is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I was sending a message to someone else that's trying to join us here. Gabon, really? Is that what we're going with here, man? I feel like if I ask you to name another one, though, you're just going to say Redemption Island, and I'm going to have to kick you from this podcast.
Redemption Island isn't my second favorite. It's not.
What's your second favorite?
Okay. Oof. Probably Heroes versus Villains, I guess, to be basic. Probably to be basic, Because, of course, it's a great season. The only bad part about it is the winner. That's literally it, so it's fine.
So, quick fact of the day: Snuffed, thanks for joining us, is apparently a Mighty Angels of Anaheim fan. Interesting team, I guess. They got like the two best players, they're an interesting team because they have like the two best players in all of baseball, and yet they still can't like make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're terrible.
And this coming from me, who is a Pirates fan again. Snuffed, what's up? Thanks for joining. Snuffed, if you have access, come and hop on the podcast, man. Come join us. Talk about season 41 some more. Here we go. Russell Muscle is joining us. I'll add him to the stream. Russell, how's it going?
Yo, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Great, of course. We were just introducing ourselves, where we're from, and your favorite Survivor and favorite season. Please don't say Gabon.
Okay, it's not Gabon. Gabon's just weird. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm from Toronto, Canada area. I just got off a 5-hour shift. I'm a personal trainer, so my voice is a little out of it right now. Sorry about that. Yeah, favorite season I would have to say is Second Chance. And it's up there between Second Chance, David versus Goliath is in my top two. It goes back and forth between the two of them. And then for my favorite player of all time, it was Ozzy for a long time growing up as a kid, but that later shifted into Malcolm being my favorite player.
Okay. Do you want to see Malcolm back, or do you think we've seen enough?
I want to see him. Oh my God. I want to see him back, and I think he will come back, hopefully for a Legends season. I know he's into it and really wants to come back. The issue is when you've played 3 times already, I don't know if Malcolm's going to get another invite, especially with this new era we're moving into.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. I think he'd be good for a Legends season. But
yep. Do you think they're going to invite a lot of people back for eventual returnee seasons, or are we going to leave the old era behind us and kind of stick to 40 plus?
What I'm hearing is that 43 or 44, one of those is going to be Second Chance 2. That's nice. Been the rumor around the mill. I feel like there's a good amount of people that deserve a second chance, including some people that were up for Second Chance 1 that
such
didn't
as
get,
T-Bird.
Shane
And if T-Bird gets
100%.
snuffed a second time, I'm rioting and I'm never watching Survivor ever again.
Agreed.
Shane Powers, let's go.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting one.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
Who else? There was like one other big person that got snubbed for that vote that I'm forgetting.
Troy's
I'm
in.
trying to picture that.
Troy's
Was Troy's in there?
I remember
got
Brad Culpepper was there.
45. So
Nah, he wasn't snubbed though.
Yeah.
Second
No.
chance ballot.
Sabrina Thompson. And then the other one is
Yeah.
Okay.
from
Forgot about
South
Sabrina. I actually
Pacific.
wouldn't
It's the
mind
name
Sabrina
again.
back. She was
Yeah.
second or third in one world.
Yep. Well, maybe they can come back. All right, guys. Let's get into season 41 talk, though. All right, I'm going to ask y'all one by one. Expectations for season 41. Dylan, start us off.
I feel like if the way Survivor has been going on after a big returnee season, I hope it doesn't continue with that trend, and I really hope it will be a great season, especially with 26 days, which we've never seen before in American Survivor. So I really hope they can actually play the game with great quality, even with having less days.
All right. Yeah. Sarah, what about you?
I have really high expectations for season 41. I think it is moving into a new era of Survivor, and I think everybody realizes that. And for the most part, I think people are excited, but I know people have mixed feelings. Like, people who have been super fans for all their life are probably really hesitant about this new era of Survivor. But I think, like Dylan said, the 26 days will be really interesting. And I think we'll see a shift from alliances and loyalty and moving into voting blocks. And loyalty won't play as big of a factor, which that's kind of been the trend the past few seasons. But I feel like it's going to be even more so the trend with 26 days. So that'll be really interesting to see how the jury responds if loyalty is not going to be as big of a factor and what they're going to, base their vote off of. So.
Okay. Interesting. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, like I said, there is no season of Survivor that's bad TV. So I'm mostly just hyped to have Survivor back. I mean, of course, there's better seasons and worse seasons. So I'm hoping it's, one of the better ones. I think they've got a lot of time to think. I think Jeff's got a lot of time to, come up with evaluating what's going well and what's going wrong. So I hope that, hopefully with the hiatus, like, he's able to sit down and make some good decisions about the future of the show. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I honestly I'm just excited. Like there's no way to say it another way. Like, we're getting Survivor back on our TVs. I've loved watching, the season of Australian Survivor, like that's been going on right now. And that's had a lot of issues with production stuff. And I won't spoil it for people who want to go back and watch that, but it's still been great watching Survivor, every week. So I'm excited for all of it to come back.
Yeah, a controversial statement there. There's not a bad season of Survivor except for Thailand.
Yeah, well,
right?
no, I didn't say that. No, there are definitely bad seasons relative to other seasons, but none of it's bad TV. Survivor compared to other shows,
Yeah, facts. Except
I also
for Thailand.
will say,
yeah.
I also say I'm really Thailand is my least favorite. I agree with that. Also, I don't know about if you guys are in the same boat, but like I've gotten a lot of friends who have gotten into Survivor after the Netflix seasons were put
100%. Yeah.
And so like I'm like, it's like different for me going into this season other than versus other old seasons, because like a lot of like my good friends and a lot of people that just kind of just knew I was this crazy Survivor guy but didn't really know anything about the show, or actually have watched like 5 or 6 seasons now and are going to be watching along each week.
Yeah, I'm sure as super fans with it being on Netflix, a few of us have gotten messages like, I love these 2 seasons, where do I watch them next, and what do I watch,
Oh yeah.
So
no, I created
it's been
a whole
fun.
like, rubric.
Yeah. It's been fun to like guide them along, and be like, if you like fast gameplay, watch 37 or whatever, stuff like that.
Was it just
Christian,
those 2? Did they never add any more?
They haven't added any more yet, but
okay.
There's 33 season on Hulu, so maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm also excited too. I mean, it's been a year. I've been rewatching season from 1 to 40. Trying to finish right now 38, going closer to 40 this week. So yeah, I'm really excited from the hiatus. What I'm concerned is like the 26 days. I don't know how it's going to affect the gameplay. I know it's going to be fast and they're going to cut rewards, but the days where they eliminated, is it going to be double tribals? It's going to be idols, different abilities, expirations, even advantages. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. Yet I hope it doesn't hurt Survivor.
Yeah, and we'll get into that more for another question as well, for sure.
I hope they go back to 39 days next year.
Yeah.
Well, did you see, Christian? Did you see Jeff's? He did an interview recently and said that one, he thinks people are not going to know the difference, and he said there's a chance that they stick with 26 because production seemed to like it so much. So
I read that EW and I was a little bit shocked.
Yeah.
Which to me, I'm a purist. I like more the 39 days. That's what they started since season 1? Yeah. So it makes sense like that.
Every season except 2.
Yeah, 2. And now 43, 44, 40, 41, 40, 42 is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, and like Jeff confirmed, it was, just because of a COVID thing, because they filmed the seasons, back to back. I think there's like...
It's understandable. It's understandable. We understand that.
Yeah, I think there's like a 1 week break between 41, like the filming of 41 and 42. So if it was 39 days times 2 would be what, like 80 plus the quarantines, it would have been over 100. Yeah. And I think Fiji only allowed them to be in Fiji for no more than 100 days. So it literally was impossible. So I get it for this season. Who knows? Maybe this like new fast-paced game we like. We'll talk more about the 26.
But not only that too. About that is like the reason why they did that is because there's also other international TV shows too. Then they have to do quarantine with them too as well, their cast and whatsoever. So that's also affects the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scheduling.
What about you, Russell? What's your expectations?
I am so excited because Canadians are here. I don't really count season 39. Tom wasn't living in Canada at the time. I know one of the cast members here isn't living in Canada at the time, lives in Washington now. But having Canadians here, gotta love it. I'm super excited for that. I'll get on Survivor one day, and that'll be sick as well. But honestly, I'm pretty scared for this season. Like what one of you guys said, like after most All-Stars and big seasons, there's kind of like a downer afterwards. Our expectations are so high, and that's like times 10 here. We took a year break of Survivor. We're now back. We mentioned the Netflix era. There's more fans than ever, so there's more expectations than ever. This season really needs to deliver, and with everything Jeff's saying, it's scaring me. And I hope it comes through. Like, we got the monster here. What's that going to be? We got the game within the game. I think they're doing a lot with what they were doing in, like, the post-classic era and just throwing a bunch of things at the wall, seeing what sticks, and hopefully we get a good season.
Absolutely, yeah. Did everyone answer the...
Yep.
Wait, I say something to Russell.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian too, dude. You're not the only one in this channel.
Oh, let's go. Yo, Canadian Alliance?
Yeah, no problem. 1-1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I kind of agree with just to give my own thoughts. I kind of agree with pretty much everything you guys said. Like, I understand the 26 days thing. I mentioned this in a previous podcast too, but I'm worried because I feel like one of my biggest, and I don't have many issues with the game as it stands, but one of mine is I feel like it's starting to get a little too fast paced. I'm more of an old school guy. Like, I love every season except Thailand, but I do kind of prefer the older seasons, like the slower, a little bit slower pace. We get time to develop them as characters a little more, show a little bit more camp life, shows a little bit more of like the survival struggles. I feel like ever since Russell Hantz in Samoa, it's just been like the second you get to that beach, it's get an alliance, get an alliance within an alliance. Get a secret alliance, look for idols. It's just like the second you hit the beach now, it's like it goes from 0 to 100 like instantly. So I'm already a little weary because I was already weary like pretty much since Samoa that it's slowly been getting too fast paced, and now that it's the most fast paced it's ever been, we'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna like dismiss it. Maybe it ends up just being like Jeff said in the promos, like when they introduced immunity idols, people were like, I don't know about this. When they introduced the first tribe swap in Africa, people were like, I don't know about this. And now these two things are complete staples in the show. But Riley Snuffed, thanks so much for joining. I saw you in the chat. I was like, hop
the
on,
boy.
man.
Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
How we going, guys?
I like
What's,
the buff, dude. That's slick.
Yeah, I think I'm going after Dylan's home country. It's a Survive South Africa Immunity Island buff. A great season at the moment as well.
Yeah. What's Riley? What's your favorite season and player in US? So you can say international too if you want.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for my favorite season. I know Gideon said Gabon was his favorite. I'm going to put one of my more underrated seasons. I'm going to actually discuss these with Russell Muscle TV in the past, and it's Survivor Nicaragua. I'm a big Nicaragua fan. Fabio is actually my favorite player of all time. I just love how crazy the cast is. They're all playing such a crazy, chaotic game that it makes it so much fun.
Yeah, very cool.
Well.
Do you have any like general expectations or hope? We've talked about this before, but do you have any just general expectations or hopes for season 41?
I'm just looking forward to getting to know new cast and, seeing what new twists are thrown at the wall. Obviously, 26 days will be a massive game changer in terms of how the game is played and definitely change the pace of the game. So just really excited to get Survivor back in our TVs after such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know I forget who it was at first. Christian first touched about like the whole 26 days thing, and that's what I was alluding to right before Riley joined. My worry about it's sort of already Survivor is starting to lean towards that like line of being maybe a little too fast pace. So I'm worried it might push us over the edge. But they said that they formatted it in a way that it feels like 39 days. So maybe they cut reward challenges or something to sort of make up for that. So I wanted to sort of ask you guys, like Christian, you kind of already spoke on it, but you can allude more if you want when we get to you. But when it comes to the whole 26 days things, how do you guys think that's just going to impact the game? Josh, do you want to go first with that?
Sure. Yeah. I think people like us will notice some slight changes in like how it affects people's strategy, like wondering at certain moments, okay, if they had, let's say a swap happened and then they go to tribal council that same night, I think we'll pick up on, okay, if they had a little bit more time, could they have done something different here or, been able to work around the situation? But I think for most people, I really do think that they're not going to notice because I feel like already there's so much dead time in Survivor. Everybody talks about how like, outside of like bad weather seasons, Survivor mostly is just boring mixed in with a few, like you do, one challenge one day, the immunity challenge the next day, and then you go to tribal council the next day. Like the rest of the day is just doing nothing, and, people spinning their wheels. There's conversations, fun moments that, they show, but I think, there's not that much more content that, we're going to miss out on if they squeeze some of that together. We might miss reward challenges, but personally, hot take, I hate reward challenges. It's the hardest thing to sit through. That and tribal councils are pretty much usually the hardest things, the worst parts of the episode for me. And so if we yada the reward challenge or shrink tribal councils to be smaller, I feel like it'll actually be better than worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've noticed, and we touched on this on our last podcast too, but it seems like more and more over the last like maybe 5 or 6 years, it seems like they've been combining reward and immunity challenges a lot. It's sort of like you're playing for immunity and reward. So maybe the way they're doing it this season is just every immunity challenge is also a reward. Which it's weird because the biggest thing about rewards was one, it gave you a chance to like restructure alliances or make new ones with the people you go on rewards with. Two, it was just cool seeing like, like when JT and Fishback were like this the whole game and Tokachins, and they went on that reward together. With Ethan and Lex, it was cool seeing like alliances that stuck with it go on these like beautiful rewards. But nowadays it's like if you go on a reward, everyone gets mad that you weren't the one taken. And I think part of that is on production. I feel like they give you so many people to invite. I feel like Jeff is like, maybe add one more person, and they pick one more. Maybe add one more, to the point where I feel like it's going to get to just everyone but one person. And then it's like, why even have the reward if half the cast is going to go on the challenge? But we'll see. We'll see what they do with it this time. But Dylan, did you want to tell us what you thought about 26 days? How you think that might impact the game?
I think with the same with as what Josh said, we'll see a lot of impact on the tribe swap. Let's say they swap the morning, there's a challenge immediately afterwards, and it's immunity, and then they have to vote someone out that evening. It will be very unlikely we'll see a flipper, because they don't have as much time as previous seasons. So I do think that they should, at least after tribe swap or the merge, give us 2 days with them before we get some of them out.
Yeah. Sarah, did you have any opinion on 26 days? How you think it might impact the game or won't impact the game?
Yeah. I think that, I don't know, like I feel like there might be more tribe swaps this season. Like that could potentially be a twist where they're just swapping. So because the game is so fast paced, it might just happen like back to back. And that makes me feel like there might be a lot of like random vote counts, because normally, after a tribe swap, once you've gotten to know people, you start forming alliances, there won't be as much time for that. So I'm wondering if like at tribal, it's just going to be like pure chaos, and leading up to it will just be pure chaos. And it'll just be like, you'll hear names left and right, and like no one will actually know who's going. And maybe us as viewers may not know who's going, which will be exciting, because I feel like a lot of seasons, it's like, we know who's going home. And so maybe just the pure chaos will be more exciting for viewers and better TV with, we may not know what's happening.
Yeah, that could be cool. Just doing a, it sort of became a staple that like there's at least one tribe swap per season, but it seems like at least once or twice they've done multiple. So yeah, maybe it could be a thing where pre-merge, it's just, tribe swap every episode or every other one. I feel like that definitely would go along with some of the other things Jeff has suggested, with all the new twists and advantages he's said that may arrive this season. So yeah, we'll see if that ends up happening. But Christian, I know you kind of spoke on 26 days with the previous question. Did you have anything you wanted to add about your thoughts on that, or did you pretty much cover all your thoughts?
I have one thing about it. It's just like, if they do 26 days, what I'm assuming, which I heard, or there might be rumors about, is that probably they're going to cut the food supply and the tools for each tribe.
Yeah.
This is 26 days, so maybe have less food, less rice, less vegetable, whatever they have, food and rewards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe nowadays you get a bag of rice and a bag of beans. I think it's been that way since Caramoan, if I remember.
Yeah.
But
I do think though that they've confirmed that they get no food to start the season.
Yeah.
That there's nothing. Yeah, there's no rice, nothing.
They're gonna starve.
I mean, I don't know about tools. Yeah, but for old school fans, like some of you guys are saying, like that'll be fun. I mean, there are people who provide food for the tribe will actually be more valuable if
They're gonna bring the old school.
Nothing else to go on.
Which is cool. I feel like that's something that fans have been asking for quite some time now. Like that was like an aspect that I think most people were in agreement with, like, oh, bring back the survival aspect. Like, it's sort of like we traded that for just nonstop strategy. And like, yeah, it's cool hearing like strategy and learning like the inner workings of the game and where everyone's at. But at the same time, like those moments where like Rupert would catch a fish or everyone would be starving and there'd be like a 4-minute scene of like Ozzy going out to the reef and, coming up with like a spear full of just like stacks of fish. Some of those scenes were really cool to see. You know, when you're out there, because of the poor conditions, it sort of builds this camaraderie, and I feel like they've shied away from showing those moments, if they even exist, to show just pretty much nonstop strategy, which again seems like all kind of started back with 19. So Russell, if you're watching this, thanks a lot. Speaking of
You
Russell,
ruined it.
Russell Muscle, what are your thoughts? 26 days.
Yeah, so I'm super conflicted on it. When I first heard 26 days, like most fans, it's probably like, no, this is not my Survivor I signed up for. I want the 39 days. I want real Survivor. But at the end of the day, I think Jeff and a lot of people have like alluded to this too. It's gonna feel that the episodes are gonna feel the same way to us. We're gonna have our challenge. We're gonna have camp life. We're gonna go to tribal council afterwards. So I think us super fans, we might be able to break it down and see some things that feel a little different. But your regular fan of Survivor is gonna see this and they're gonna say, "Oh, Survivor's back, yay!" And you might not even notice that it is 26 days. And I'm in the middle of my Blood versus Water video right now, and I gotta say that season is way too easy to the point where I'm really excited for an actual hard season of Survivor. Hopefully a hard season of Survivor where maybe they add back those surviving elements to it. Because looking back at that season, I forgot how easy it was, and I'm excited to see it change back to the old school days of, okay, let's survive. We're really fending for ourselves here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Riley, did you? I don't think I got to you yet. Have I? About your thoughts on 26 days? How it might have.
Yeah, I think Dylan sort of alluded to it earlier when he said that we might see a little bit of rigidity in terms of the alliances if we're only going to tribal council every 2 days, because it doesn't mean that we get too many opportunities to really strategize. I almost think it might be the opposite, and we might see fluidity. So those alliances aren't actually built too strongly, and really every tribal council you're just determining who's going to be the next target. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the game sort of adapts to going to tribal council every few days, and whether those alliances actually form or if they stay really solid. So certainly, with tribal councils every couple of days, so little time to strategize at camp. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel like, obviously one thing Jeff has been promoting is this like Survivor being like a monster in a horror movie, this being like a dangerous season. Now, Jeff has said before, like, oh, this is going to be an intense, dangerous season. And then it just ends up being like Cagayan, which had like, I don't even think Cagayan had like a medevac. Had like Lindsay quit, right? I think that's about
somebody quit. That's it.
Yeah. So, but it does seem like from the promos there might be like some tough challenges.
You check the weather.
Alluded to this before, yeah. But if you some people will look on AccuWeather on their phones and checking the app, and you can actually look at like Fiji's weather, because Fiji's not that big. It's not like United States where it can be like raining in one city and then bright and sunny like 2 hours west. It pretty much most of Fiji's weather is the same everywhere, and it looked like the time frame when they were filming, it was raining pretty much every day. And if you look at the logo for 41, it's like thunderstorm logos or lightning bolts, and like looks like rapid water. So potentially a medevac. I think Gideon, I don't think we have to talk about our medevac theory again. I think we beat that one to death.
We beat the theory with a stick.
Yeah.
It's over.
But Gideon, what are your thoughts on 26 days? How do you think it's gonna shape the game this season?
Well, first of all, I hope it doesn't stay. I hope they go back after they physically can with government regulations.
Yeah.
As far as how it will affect the game, I think it goes one or two ways. It could be fluid, like Riley says, the strategy and the voting blocks that can occur, or the game can get so fast paced that people just grab onto their alliance the whole time for dear life. So it just depends on how the gameplay goes, and if the gameplay and the game just naturally goes so fast that people have to stay in the alliance and have no chance to make moves. I hope that doesn't happen, because I like a little bit of strategy and switch ups. But I think there's one or two ways it goes. So I hope it's fluid, but who knows? So I wanted to ask you guys, what is one thing that you hope that Survivor gets rid of from that they've been doing recently going into 41. Riley, what about you?
I'd say the overabundance of advantages. We've seen this happen in game changes where Sari was sent home because she didn't have an idol in her pocket. And we see time and time again, people like Ty just hoarding idols until the final four. And then they all come out at tribal council, which, effectively saves half the tribe at that point. So certainly I've always been a fan of the idea of having one idol in each camp, and then you hide an idol at the merge as well. So effectively 4 idols in the whole game. If they played at the first tribal council, maybe rehide it. But beyond that, I think the less idols you put in the game, the less impact it will have in the game. And, you won't see as many fans complaining when, someone like a Ben or a Rick Devons goes all the way deep into the game if they're not, saving themselves by idols every time. So I certainly think, lessening the amount of advantages in the game would probably be something I'd like to see. I like having them there, but at the moment, it just seems like there's way too many.
Fire
Josh?
tokens.
Oh, yeah. Adam, you don't want fire tokens?
Not a fan.
That's funny because I wanted them back. So, but they're not coming. They're not coming back.
Here's the thing. I feel like they were a good idea that just wasn't executed well. Like there was
I
too
want them
many
back, but them executed well. Yeah.
Well, I feel like yeah. Well, I feel like fire tokens shouldn't be on an edge of extinction season because it just gave way too much advantage to the people that got voted out early. Like Natalie was just like hoarding them.
Yeah.
Amber didn't really get any, but some of the other people that got voted out early on, the Tyson part, were just like hoarding tokens. It almost benefited them. It did benefit them. Like I don't think Natalie would have got back. Like she barely beat Wendell in that final challenge. At least that's what the edit alludes you to think. So she barely beat Wendell with like 1 million advantages. Would she have beat? Because I don't think Wendell even had one, or maybe he had like one fire token.
I think he had one. Yeah.
Yeah, like fire token, I feel like it's not a bad idea, but I just think it wasn't smart for Edge, and I feel like I feel like it. Maybe that was like a guinea pig season. Interesting that they would choose the all winners for the guinea pig season, but so I wouldn't be like upset if they found a way to fix it. But if I had to pick one thing, for me it'd be fire tokens. But sorry, whoever you. I interrupted.
For me, it's the idol. For me, it's the idol nullifier. That's enough said about that. Josh, what about you?
Yeah, I think the idol nullifier is probably the worst twist of all of them. I agree, but I think I keep referencing it because it's on my mind right now. But Australian Survivor, they don't do fire making, right? And they don't do a final 3. They do a final 2. And this season, I feel like has some real gamers that have gotten to the end. And I think that they have proved that in the hyper strategic era of Survivor, that we don't need that the players that are truly great at the game can accommodate for a final 2 in a way that earlier strategy of Survivor couldn't. And I think that they put in these fire making, they put in the final 3 because they want the big characters and stars to last till the end. But the problem is now they just get booted at the final 5 and final 6, and we miss out on having our Christian Hubickies in the finale episode, because they get cut earlier now. And so I think that it actually encourages more goats to be taken to the end because there's so much, because more can happen. And so I feel like if I mean, it's never going to happen. So I'm just screaming this into the void. But if they could get rid of the fire making and or make it a final 2, like I just think that I think that nowadays with the hyper strategy involved, people will take people to the end that are actually good at Survivor and could win because they again can eliminate the goats. I will CC Australian Survivor this season as the prime example as what happens when great strategic minds have to find their way to the final 2. I mean, we don't know who's in the final 2 yet, but it's going to be at least one really good strategic player. And a couple of them have put themselves in great positions to win. So I would love to see it. I would love to see it if they could, eliminate that stuff, but it won't ever happen.
Yeah.
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 That, I just, I would love to see it if they could, eliminate that stuff, but it won't ever happen.
What about you, Christian?
I don't know. I don't have anything negative about that. I think the edge of extinction. I hope it's gone, done, like for good.
I heard it is.
I think it's gone.
I think it's gone.
And I need you in Redemption Island too. Those two.
Yeah, I agree. My personal take is any island that allows you to be voted out then come back. I'm just not a. I feel like if you're voted out, you're done.
I think there's a edge of extinct, or not edge. I think there's a what's it called, Adam? Yeah, I think there might be Exile. That's another one of those classic Survivor.
Exile's okay. I'm okay with that. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I hope we're right about that, Adam.
But they shouldn't. I mean, the fire making challenge, it's there. I mean, I like it. I mean, I'm a personal fan of that. I know Josh doesn't agree with me, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm cool with Exile too. There's been some great seasons. I mean, Cook Islands had Exile, Micronesia, Token Sheens. Did China have Exile? I can't remember.
No.
Okay.
Game Changers had it once.
Did it?
Yeah.
And David versus Goliath had it a little bit.
Yeah.
With Carl with the Idle Nullifier.
Yeah. Okay.
Game Changers Exile Island didn't count. It was just Cochrane on a boat.
Yeah.
They paid him to do that.
I know. Well, CBS pays him anyway. So, Dylan, what's your what's your thing you don't want to see?
I'm going to be honest and say I really don't like the way they hide the idols. It's just too easy. They can literally walk down a path and look to their left and see something blue or red, and then they find the idol. They should hide it like they usually did, very hidden, and you had to have clues to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Russell broke the system.
Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like we just we should have.
What about idols and challenges?
Corner of all the times we mentioned Russell just, forcing production and just completely changed everything. But no, I agree with that. Too many idols, too easy to find. Yeah. Who else didn't answer that? Sarah.
Yeah, I like what you said, Dylan, because I've been watching the recent South African Survivor season. I don't know if you guys have. It's really, really good. But on that season, they actually hide the idols at Tribal Council, which I think is an incredible twist. And
they got to do it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be a super cool twist to see. And then with this recent season, they had Immunity Island, which is similar to Exile, but you have a chance to stay or play. You can watch the season to learn more, but I think that's actually a pretty good idea. But I'm with you on not wanting to see Edge of Extinction or Redemption Island again. I think we're done with that. I am really torn with advantages because I can see the benefits of advantages because I think it enhances gameplay. It causes you to think even harder. And I like that aspect about advantages, but it will, I don't like how it's idle heavy and, everyone's just focused on who's playing an advantage. Oh, look, they're a target because they played an idol. So it'll be interesting if there aren't as many advantages to see, okay, this person's a target because of this. And it doesn't have to do with advantages because I think we've seen that too often where people are just targeted for their advantages and not for necessarily how they're playing the game. So I'd love to see an old school shift with who is viewed as a target and how perception becomes reality and who are people perceiving as targets with the advantages taken away.
Yeah, I agree.
How about you, Russell? Finish this off.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised no one brought this up yet, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. But let's not bring back the Island of the Idols. What are your thoughts, Gideon?
Come on, man. Make it Tony and Who? Sarah?
Sandra
yeah.
again? Oh yeah, I guess Sarah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I
No.
don't want to see. I don't want to see it back. I mean, I think it's stupid.
Yeah, too much screen time. When the winner of the season didn't go, okay, that's enough, right? Like.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, so a lot of that ended up hurting the players, like, and hurting the gameplay. So I didn't like it at all.
Yep.
Yeah, I can be cool with that. Do you guys have anything you would maybe want them to bring back that that maybe once was a Survivor staple, or just something that might have been in the show like once or twice that they just never brought back? I've always been a big fan of the card challenge. I know there's like the card challenge curse, but I feel like it was always something that we could like look forward to, that was kind of like a step away from all the intense, because the card challenge would come with like Final 4, Final 5, when things were really starting to get tense, really starting to get like emotional, and everyone was just playing like die hard, balls to the wall. It was kind of like that one thing you could expect every season. It just, it was a fun challenge. People were like laughing during it, and then there was like they get to bring someone on the reward as they drive around the outback in their car. I feel like it was just kind of like a fun way to like have that nice like exhale every season that they took away. Obviously, like I said, there's the curse. No one who's ever won the car has won the show, which I believe is the case not only in the US, but correct me if I'm wrong, Riley, isn't it the same thing for international too? Yeah.
Same thing for international, I believe. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Dang.
Yeah. Anything you guys want them to bring back? Riley, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'd say bring back the final immunity challenge and have it an endurance challenge. We saw it in Borneo and All Stars with Hands on a Hard Idol, in Fiji with Hang by a Thread, really making them work to fight to the end. And I think that goes back to Josh's point about getting rid of the fire making challenge. If you get rid of the fire making, bring back a final 2, and you have the final 3 battle it out, and you get to see who wants to be there the most. And we've seen it in Australian Survivor a couple times, where they just have brutal challenges, absolutely hanging on, a tiny little pedestal and hanging on for dear life until they basically collapse at the end of the challenge. I think it just adds another layer to the show, where it really shows how much they've expended all their energy over the last 39 days, or 26 in this instance, and how determined they are to make the end.
Yeah, I like how in Australia they do it at night too, or at least it bleeds into night and gives it that like extra intensity to it. But Josh, anything you wanted to add? Anything you think they should bring back, or even something that they've never done if you've always had an idea of something they should do?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one. Nothing's coming to mind too strong. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Christian, you got anything?
I mean, what should they bring back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll pass it.
Brett's saying the auction.
Yeah, the auction.
I agree with the auction.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, auction.
As long as they are clear that there's no advantage or reward, because then everyone just saves their money or whatever, or just get it done with at the beginning or something. I don't know, but I want to see people have fun. Like especially if they're gonna starve them with no food. Bring back the auction. That would be fun. But then now it's just the meta game has ruined the the auction with the advantages and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the classic Survivor challenges I would like to see again, like Coconut Chop and Touch of Subjects, and just some of the more classic ones that we love. I would love to see in the new era of Survivor.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe they never did that one challenge again. I think it was in Gabon. Probably the only good thing about Gabon was that challenge where rolled the
I'll just leave. Down. I mean,
where they rolled wasn't that Gabon where they like rolled the big ball? They had
you had 2 balls and like some goals, and like the goals counted for amounts, and you would have people blindfolded. Yeah.
And Randy would yell.
And Randy had a freaking alpha strategy of yelling at the other team, and it was great.
Did you see Randy's petition to get himself on The Bachelor?
Yep.
I mean, I go on for Randy, man. That's a specimen of a man right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Russell, anything you want the show to bring back?
Yeah, this might be a hottish take, but I want to see Blood versus Water again. I wouldn't. Let's keep the San Juan del Sur version. I don't want to see returnees versus new players. I don't want to see that actually ever again. Let's keep the captains and fan versus favorites in the past. But seeing the Blood versus Water dynamic, I think it's just so cool. And I think San Juan del Sur has aged really good, aged like fine wine. And I think over time, people have learned to appreciate it a little more. At the time, it wasn't seen as a good season, and that's why I think they haven't brought it back again. But I would love to see a Blood versus Water season again.
Thanks, Brett. Russell? I'm just curious. Do you prefer Blood versus Water with returnees or with all newbies?
All newbies.
Okay.
I actually like Blood versus Water with the original one with the returnees. I like that season better than San Juan del Sur, but I don't want to see returnees versus newbie players ever again, and so I think we should move in that direction.
I want Blood versus Water too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to see like a Blood versus Water or like fans versus favorites, but it's like the Toon Squad versus like the Monstars. So like you bring in a favorite or a fans tribe, but they're like just beasts, strategic beasts. Like I just want to see like professional athletes versus like favorites or something, you know?
We'll do it in a couple of years with when Rob's kids, Tyson's kids, everyone's kids are old enough, and they'll play Blood versus Water again.
Survivor 50, Rob's kids versus Tyson's kids. I'm in.
Something we haven't talked about is the fact there's not a theme that we know of for season 41.
I like that.
Me too.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely preferred like the era of Survivor when they would go where every season it would be like, oh, what cool location are we going to go to? I definitely preferred those over like the pitting of lifestyles, David, Goliath, Millennials, Gen X. Not that those were all bad seasons, but just the idea of, where are they going to go next? What culture are we going to see them, have on the show with like the reward challenge that they would do every year where they would go and hang out with the locals, I guess, of that area. But did you guys hear Survivor 41 almost became Survivor Georgia? I saw that just came out a couple days ago. That'd been cool.
It was Georgia and Hawaii, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were looking at Georgia and Hawaii. So
that would have been interesting.
Yeah. But did everyone answer the thing they want to bring back question? I think that was everyone.
I think Dylan. I don't know if Dylan went.
Dylan, you gave an answer, didn't you?
No, not yet.
Oh, what was
what would you bring back?
What would you bring back?
I would say the auction, but do it the way South Africa does it. Fake money and advantages are covered.
What do you mean they're covered?
But basically, you don't know there's an advantage. So they know coming into the auction there is an advantage maybe in the auction, but they don't know when it will be. Right.
Yeah, because with Survivor, it's like always last. So, if you just wait till the end, that'll be like the last one. And sometimes the advantage in US Survivor was like a clue to an idol. And sometimes it would just be like, you get to start 2 seconds earlier in the reward. Like it'd be like, so it would fluctuate so much. It'd be like, oh man, I gave up $500 for an extra 3 seconds at the rope pull. So, or I feel like another way because it seems like the thing that broke the auction was Sharon on, what was that? Was that Game Changers? Maybe I forget.
It was
Worlds Apart.
Worlds Apart.
Worlds Apart. Yeah, she was like, well, I'll just pay $20 and no one outbid. Well, what they could do to fix that is just have a minimum bet for things like that. Like you have to pay a minimum because they just start at 20. Like the minimum is 20 because they pay in $20 increments. So I feel like that was an easy fix that they just never did. So yeah, I agree with Brett. Hopefully, Brett, you subscribe again because I agree with you.
I wonder if we'll see more disadvantages this season.
Yeah,
I mean, I hope not.
Extortion
round 2.
Extortion round 2 would be great, but there's no fire tokens, so.
Well, the rumor is there's no fire. I don't think CBS is confirmed, but
I bet you. I bet you money.
Yeah, I bet you 2 fire tokens that they're gone.
I bet you
That's
3.
not
I'll raise you a fire token. No, I'm excited that they're bringing back the marooning, because I think that's happening. If you look at the promo, and there's a secret advantage on the ground at what looks to be a marooning. I've missed that, and I'm glad that they're bringing that back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. So to finish us off, it's what we all want to know. It's what the fans all want to know. Everybody watching, who are your winner picks? Me and Adam can start. Mine is Deshaun, just because I like how he interviews, and I liked him. What about you, Adam?
Yeah, same thing I've been saying for the last couple podcasts. It would have been Sydney, but I'm just so convinced at this point that Sydney gets medevaced. It just seems like all the evidence are there that Sydney gets medevaced. I feel like she would have been my winner pick, but if not her, I was gonna say Ricard. He just, from like all the leaks that came out throughout the summer, it seemed like Ricard just had this swagger, this confidence, but not in like a cocky, arrogant way, sort of like in a Todd way, or even like Cochran when he came back for Karen Moen way, just like boatloads of confidence, but in a way that was like, trustworthy and slick. But then all these interviews came out, and now it's like Ricard's, when you look at every like Survivor CBS video, he's like the first guy you see, and he's like, he's like the longest. He's like more questions than anyone. It seems like too obvious now that Ricard's gonna win. So usually when it is the guy who gets all the media attention, it usually doesn't end up being that guy. So it's tough. I mean, Deshaun is definitely up there for me, maybe top 2. But if I don't go with Ricard or Sydney, I'm gonna go with Tiffany. She seems like she's not the same. Survivor moms typically don't do well. In fact, really haven't done well since Tina in season 2. But Tiffany feels different than the rest of the mold. She feels a lot more focused, a lot more down to earth, smarter. Feels like she's the type of mom who could like get along with the young people. I think that's one thing, is a lot of times the mom character only gets along with the older people and can't connect with the younger crowd, except maybe Chrissy with Ryan, but that obviously didn't work out. So I don't know. I'm getting good vibes from Tiffany. I'll go with Tiffany for a winner pick. But I'm rooting for Sydney.
What about you, Riley?
Yeah, I'm actually a similar line of thinking as Adam. I was really keen on Sydney based on all the preseason hype. The interview she's given are so great. She's so confident. Really, really excited to see how she plays. But again, I think it comes back to what we've seen. A couple of the rumors. It doesn't look like she'll be in the game for too long, unfortunately. I do have a similar line of thinking and think that Ricard is going to be someone that does well. He reminds me a lot of someone like a Todd Herzog, someone that's going to be a really calming influence. He'll be able to create those alliances pretty easily and, hopefully go deep in the game. I suppose on the opposite end of the spectrum, though, David Vocci is someone I looked at from his interviews. He's either going to be the first boot or he's going to be the winner. Is just polar extremes. So I'm really interested to see how he plays as well.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with your David logic there. He's either first boot or he's going to the end. Josh, who do you think's going to win?
Not David Vocci.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm more of the camp that more of the mind that he's gonna be one of the first ones. I think he's too much. I think he's too transparently villainous, but we'll see. Maybe he finds an idol, gets in quick with somebody. I'm looking at my notes here because I forgot their name here, but there's a couple people I'm torn on. My process in general for winning for picking a winner pick is I always look for the person who has seemingly the highest emotional intelligence. That's what I feel like in recent Survivor, again, in the hyper strategic era, I feel like
Uh-huh.
most people have a baseline knowledge of the game. Like they can figure out a lot of stuff. Whereas I think like in the 20s, especially, like if you had a good, like if you knew like survivor moves, you could get away with a lot and get yourself far in the game. Whereas a lot of people were just recruited and stuff. But that era is
Right.
over. And so I think now what separates people like to the next level is their emotional intelligence. And so, I mean, I have a whole rubric to decide who I think is going to be the winner based on that. I mean, you can Google it, Google 5 domains of emotional intelligence, and you'll see there's 5 categories that you can score people on. I mean, you're not supposed to use it to score people on, but you know, that's what I do. And for me, the person who has the highest score, and it goes against all conventional wisdom, is Heather. She would be the oldest woman to ever win Survivor. And I just think she just pops for me, off the charts EQ. And I think she seems to talk about the number one thing about emotional intelligence is self-awareness. And she talks about all the mom archetypes in her interview. She talks about how, hey, I know they're going to perceive me as a Lisa, but I want to be more of a Denise. You know, I think that, you know, like, I think that she also looks a lot younger than she actually is. Like, she's very fit for her age. And so I don't think she's going to be that much of a liability in the early challenges. I haven't really gotten into too much of the specific tribe breakdowns. Like, I don't know them off the top of my head right now. So maybe if I looked at that, I might see her as in trouble. But again, it breaks all conventional wisdom to pick a woman over 50 years old to win Survivor. Hasn't happened yet, but I just got a good vibe from her, so I'm gonna go with it.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Christian, who's your winner pick?
I have 2, one for female and one for male.
That's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my male winner pick is Deshaun. He's scheming, smart. I think in his tribe with, let me check which was his tribe again. It was Livu. I think he would align with the 2 males. He's going to control them, but he's going to get away with it. And he's a clever dude. So to me, he's like kind of a little bit of like Russell 2.0.
You think Deshaun's a Russell 2.0?
I think, but we're going to find out.
Okay. Oh, no. I'm not questioning you. I'm just asking for clarification.
I'm questioning you.
Who's your female pick?
My female pick would be Erica. And then she's Canadian, so I gotta go for that. But she's also, to me, she's not that threatening. So I think she could make it far in the game. And people might perceive like she could be somebody to beat, and then she might have to play hard at the merge. And I think the first tribe to go tribal council, my predictions, it could be UA tribe, the green tribe. I think it's worth Ricard, Brad, Sarah, Chantel, Jairus. I think they're going first because I think they're going to be dysfunctional. I think Brad is the guy's controlling that tribe, but it's going to go haywire. Okay. That's my predictions.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I like it. Dylan, who's your winner pick?
I'm going to say Ricard because after watching his video on Instagram, he comes off as really charismatic. He has a great personality, and he's also a gay flight attendant, which is the winner of my favorite season. So unless he tells his tribe he's a flight attendant, I think they're going to see Tom prodding him and getting rid of him early.
That is true. Gay flight attendants are 1 for 1 when it comes to winning Survivor. So let's hope that Ricard can make it 2 for 2. Yeah. Sarah, who's your winner pick?
All right. Well, first off, this cast is incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see a cast of super fans. Most of the interviews that I've listened to, they're all super fans. Like Josh was saying, I don't think it's going to be about Survivor strategy from what we've seen, because everyone's going to know, what strategy looks like in Survivor. So I do think emotional intelligence is going to be at the top of it. I personally, just right off the bat with no research really, I get winner vibes from Erica. I think she is going to be a really great under the radar player. And I really, really, really hope we see a female winner this season. Please. It's been way too long. So I am rooting for Erica. And for a male winner pick, I actually got winner vibes from Jarius, and he kind of is unexpected because he is a younger player, but I think from his interviews, his emotional intelligence is really high from what I can see. So I like Jarius and Erica. And like my hot take, I think first boot's going to be Brad. Brad is either the player who's going to be first boot or he's going to be the GOAT dragged to the end. I feel like there's no in between with Brad. But I kind of get the first boot vibes with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I get that. Russell, finish us off, man. Who's your winner pick?
Yeah, so other than the Canadians who are easily going to dominate the entire game, I think it's let's go Canada. I actually last night did a Survivor fantasy draft with some other Survivor YouTubers, and I was lucky enough to get the first overall pick for that draft. And so I'm going right there with that same pick I picked right there. Let's go, Ricard. You're going to win the game. I don't care what the hype. You're going to win. Let's go.
Yeah. You know, we've all been saying he's getting the winner's edit before the show has even aired. If he ends up actually winning the game, it's so obvious if he actually ends up winning. I'll be kind of disappointed because I guessed it from the start. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has a player ever given like the winner edit this hard before the season's even started in a new player season?
This is the first season I've ever covered, so you would have to ask somebody who's been in the game a little longer.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm new too.
Yeah, this is my first time really paying like strong attention to all the promos. Also, I feel like there's been a decent more bit of promos this season than normal, which is weird because usually you would think that'd be followed with a lot more leaks, but there really hasn't been that many leaks.
Also, social media is just, booming right now, especially through quarantine. Social media went, Survivor TikTok. It came in like a freaking whirlwind, so that they're releasing stuff on there. It's like, so.
Yeah. I also wanted to shout out Nasir too. He's up there for me. He was one of those guys where, like, when we did our research when the cast got leaked back in June, we found his Instagram and it was pretty I don't want to say boring, but he didn't have that much stuff. It seemed like he just based off his Instagram, I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like that sociable of a guy. But man, did I change my mind about Nasir. He is like the guy I'm most excited to watch this season. It's like every clip of him, he's like dancing or smiling, even when he's like talking about like how his like conditions growing up were terrible. It's no matter what he's talking about, he just has the biggest smile, and I'm like, oh man, this if I like this guy this much, I can't imagine that the people out there on the island with him wouldn't like him too. So I'm also looking to still pick Tiffany, but Nasir might be a number 2 for me. So like Sarah said, great cast this year. I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of people this season. I don't know about you guys, but
Nasir's he gives me like kind of like that Rick Devon vibes, in my opinion. This is my opinion. He seems fun.
Yeah,
a lot of charisma.
He's got charisma. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, very cool, guys. Thanks so much to everyone that was watching. We'll have to do more Survivor Superfan roundtables in the future because it's been very cool to get fan perspectives. Like I said, if you guys have been watching our podcast so far, we've had past contestants come on, some really cool fan favorites to give insights to what it's like on the island. But it was really, really cool to get insights from people who watch the show, tune in every week, check out all the promos. And know pretty much as much as me and Gideon do. We don't have that much knowledge other than what gets released to the mass public. So it was really cool. Everyone here in this roundtable, thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Had a great time with all you guys, and enjoy season 41, everyone.